My name's Hayden Oliver. Do a bit of steel fabrication and customising cars. It's a bit of a passion project, and I get to enjoy my job every day and not have to stress about it. I generally work on like pre-65 cars. I like working on American cars mainly. My ultimate car will probably be a 37 Zephyr, chopped and dragged. What got me into cars was probably my old man. When I was really young, he brought 57. That's as far back as I can kind of remember the 57, but he used to race cars, race Capris and stuff back in New Zealand, and it's kind of like a tradition in my family, really. Effectively, my grandfather's a sheet metal worker, an old school sheet metal worker, owned his own business, and my dad is the hot rod classic car, so I'm kind of a bit of a hybrid of both of them, I guess, you know, like the fabrication but also the old school cars, is where it all comes together.
I'm Ange. Some people know me as Reckless Penny from Cooley Rocks On 2024. By day I'm an industrial sparky. In my personal life I drive this 1965 Chevy C10 Kustom. Hayden is my partner. We spend a lot of our time working on cars together, which I'm sure you've probably already figured out. When I was really, really young, my grandfather had a EH Holden, red and white, probably like everyone else's grandfather did in the 80s. We used to ride around in it when I was a little kid, and even into my teens. I used to love sitting on the back seat, no seat belts, leather seats, and just like sliding from side to side. So I grew up around some cars. By the time I was a teenager, the draw to like the car scene was more in the way of like fashion and music.
I learnt a lot from my old man, but mainly just having a crack. Learning myself, pushing myself further. I learned a lot of mechanical, and he used to help me when I was younger on my very first car. I used to have a Mark II Escort 4-door sedan. That was my very first car. We went and picked that up, no license, and first time driving a manual car. Drove that all the way back and got stuck into it.
So I wanted a 1970s Charger. Rather fortunately for me these days, it's not a car that I would really like to have. I'm more into the Americans and the muscles. But as the years went on, I went from getting into like the clothes and the music, the fashion, going to Grease Fest, and then I really, really got into a passion for cars. So it wasn't until in my late 30s that I actually got to own my own.
A few years back, after selling one of my other cars, I decided I want to import a car. And I wanted something big, American, and had to be V8 and had to be automatic. Didn't end up with a V8, didn't end up with an automatic, but I ended up with a pretty cool 59 Chev wagon that was a 6-cylinder, 3 on a tree, and got it in the country. It was quite grandpa spec, and then first thing up, I think I'd changed the wheels and tyres because it had cross plies. Were fairly on a big large car, they're fairly dangerous, and I put a set of 14x7 Supremes on it, and then the next thing after that I had to do was put some air ride in it. So I contacted the guys at Air Ride Suspension Supplies down in Melbourne, and they hooked me up and got me a kit for that over the Christmas break. I got stuck into that and got that done. I pretty much drove it for a few years as just a airbag 6-cylinder car. So got a little bit of money together and tracked down a L98 Commodore motor. That was a full got a full conversion out of a SS Ute, a V SS Ute. That was a crash car. It was a rare impact car. It was perfect donor car for my wagon. So I bought all that, and that was the next small to large project, was figuring out how to shoehorn that thing into the hole and get it all working with the old technology. Drove that for 4 or 5 years, and then decided to part ways, and now I've got a 38 Ford Coupe Deluxe. That's the next project. I'll get a few custom mods. It'll be a bit of on and off the road, and driving around bare metal and half finished until it finally is finished.
So this is my 1965 Chevy C10. He got imported at the end of 2020. It came patina, but we've done a lot of work to it since it arrived. So we imported it ourselves. It arrived early 2021. And since then, she's had full rust repairs all to the inside of the cab, all across the floors. The sills have been done. It has a 350 engine with a thumper cam. It now has disc brakes. A lot of the stuff that's on it came with it, but I am a little bit picky. So one of the first things I set off doing, other than making it reliable, was the bed timber. I'm super picky about what the timber looks like in the back of trucks, personal preference. So I spent hundreds of thousands on the back, just making sure it looked beautiful, and loads of time to make sure it was stunning. We've done the insides of the doors, all custom door cards to make sure it was beautiful. The entire inside of the cab is a gold metal flake. This is what I like to think of like the TARDIS. So the outside's all patina and old, but the inside's where it really shines. So other than all the rust repairs, everything inside's been completely done. Had a few other little mods. Christmas last year, she came off the road and got bagged and notched, bed raised, and she went back on the road. So far, there's more to be done, but that's where we're at.
The whole car thing for me is not just like a weekend thing or a day job. It's a I'm full in it 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, wake up at night thinking about stuff. It's an addiction, but it's not necessarily a healthy one, but it's better than some other addictions. But yeah, I love it. It's a full-blown passion.
Ultimate car for me would be, this is hard because when I bought the C10 at the time, and even now, I would love a 1959 Chevy Apache, deluxe trim, big back window. I'm very picky about my specs, ambassador tires. But I would love a 59 Apache even now. It was out of my price range then. But I don't know if I could trade this for another truck. So if I had to pick a dream car, I actually really wanted a 1938 Coupe Deluxe, which is pretty funny that Hayden has now ended up with one. Otherwise, it would be a 1959 Buick flat top. Those are the dream cars for me.
I've just come from Moon Eyes in Japan. I think that is now my favourite event. Like, Moon Eyes Japan has the calibre of quality of builds and everything there, bikes, cars, everything in between is just amazing. Those Japanese guys, attention to detail, all the fine little extras that most normal people would just walk past, like your day-to-day person would walk past. Someone in the industry and with the full passion with these cars notices that, and they definitely set the standards for the world, that's for sure.
What's your favourite Australian car event?
Next best car event that was on the top of the list is an Australian car event is probably Cooley Rocks. It's definitely the best time of the year. It's our dry season, and we get to go down to Coolangatta, and there's about 2,000 cars, and there's just the same thing. There's all cars from all makes, models, years, Australian cars, American cars. Yeah, the culture, around the whole thing is amazing. Everyone gets involved in it. The public get involved in it even. There's shows, there's pinup contests, there's Elvis, there's all the Elvises, there's multiple. There's people chopping cars, there's people doing demo stuff. There's lots of things to do and see down there. It's great.
I came from this from a slightly different angle. I did always love the cars, but for me it was the fashion, the music, the scene around it. I like getting dressed up and doing my hair. So I spent years wanting to enter a pinup pageant, and then in 2024 I decided that it was the year to do it, and I entered the Cooley Rocks On pinup pageant, which was incredible and amazing. It meant that I got to pick all my outfits and just look incredible all weekend. I was supported by some absolutely beautiful friends who helped me along the way and gave me all the confidence I needed. And so I ended up going in and winning Rockabilly Queen for 2024 Cooley. It's such an incredible opportunity, and it is like the whole weekend of Cooley is like most car shows for me. I get the chance to dress up, do my hair beautiful, just look amazing, listen to music and dance, because I spend so much time sitting under trucks, or my truck, sitting under cars with grease under my nails, and so it's a really nice like juxtaposition for the whole entire lifestyle.
The scene for custom car culture and like metal shaping is definitely growing and getting better. Like the younger generation that are in it now are sharing the knowledge that the knowledge that they've learned off some of the older guys that have actually shared it is slowly trickling down, because the culture never used to be that good. It used to be quite like fair, losing work, but now you can pretty much contact most people, and if they've got the time, they will give you a bell, and they'll more than happy to help you out and send you in the right direction if you're stuck on something.